Hola chicas, ¿cómo están? Les doy la más cordial bienvenida a otro conversatorio con Reinas del Nilo y quiero presentarles a una extraordinaria maestra. Su nombre es Nawarra y ella es de Marruecos. Entonces vamos a tener este pequeño espacio con ella para hablar sobre las danzas de Marruecos, saber un poquito más de su cultura y sin más preámbulo le damos la bienvenida. Hi Nawarra.
Hello, Stephanie. Hello, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm very well indeed. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for accepting. Thank you for being sharing with us this moment. I'm so happy to have you here. And well, tell us, how are you? How is the time now in your country where you are?
We are obviously I don't know whether you said that because obviously you spoke different language to me. So yes, I'm based in the UK. I have a Moroccan origin. I am based in the UK. I mean, during if the question about the pandemic, I mean
Exactly.
the things were a bit hard because nobody knew what they were doing. Nobody did have. Understand what was going on, what was the future holding, and all that. Things are easing off a little bit now. People, little bit by bit, are going back into normal life. There's still a scary feeling about the future and what's going to happen. Nobody knows. But I suppose we have to take it. And the most importantly, we have to be safe. And that's what we're gonna, what we aiming, what everybody's aiming for. But life in the UK is slightly coming back to normal, little bit by little bit. Still no dance, still no theatre, still no dance studio, no gyms, nothing at all. So, but we're waiting. We are waiting.
Exactly. I think that it's the same situation in all around the world. Here in
Mhm.
Mexico, we are going little by little going out, but we have this amazing technology, so we can connect with amazing dancers as you. So let's start with this time. We want to know where are you from? How do you start dancing? And we can start with this question.
Right, brilliant. No, that's absolutely fine. And like I said, thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to actually be on a different platform rather than the UK and the States and the French. And then, well, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Nawara. I am based in the north of the United Kingdom, and I lived in the United Kingdom for a little bit of a long time, so it's nearly 20 years. I've been dancing nearly since my childhood. I took it as a profession when I came to the UK, and I've learned from different masters from all over, and that is Turkish, Egyptian, North African. I do have a very strong link into my own country, and I've learned from so many masters, so many people, and I can't just mention one or two names, different people, wherever I go back, whenever I go back. I've done my researches on the North African, mainly Moroccan dance, and I worked closely with some bigger names on this field, during this time of being dancing.
So long time. So
A
how
little
is
bit. I'm not that old. I've just started on a younger age.
exactly. And how do you get in love with the dance, with this music?
It's dancing. It's part of Arabs' everyday life. Even though Arabic women or Arab women they don't dance, the dance is actually present in their life, in their daily life and daily activities, or is present as well as other things. Uh, I suppose it's the way we've grown up. It's just you get hooked into it, and we grow up in a culture that dance is part of it. So you just grow up doing it basically. But obviously, taking it as a profession is a different scenario, is a different way. So there's a lot more studies. There's a lot more learning. There's a lot more research to be done into it. I love my culture and I love Morocco as a country and I love Morocco as diverse country, as a country with it's a huge history, but so many backgrounds to it, and that's my big attachment to it. And you know what, Stephanie, whenever I go back, I'm always learning, because I've got a great passion to it, I've got a great flair to it, and I want to share it, and I want to share it properly and introduce it, not on a touristic side, not on a commercial side, but introduce it as an authentic country, and that's what it has to offer, because it has got a lot to offer.
I think that this is one of the most important when we are learning from a native teacher, because they have all this culture, all this understanding, but more far away from the fashion or the sometime in the moment. No, they have a all background about this culture that is so big and so amazing. So, what was the situation, Nawara, in Morocco when you were living there, and about the dance, about the professional dancers?
Well, Morocco, when I left Morocco, there were no, there were the dance always been present. But I think on my time, when I was there, the dance were only present on a certain places like hotels, certain cabarets, certain places. Unfortunately, it wasn't very highly received and highly seen at the time. Now Morocco has changed, and like you said, it's nearly 20 years since, I've moved out. I'm not lived in Morocco, but it doesn't necessarily mean, I mean, I go to Morocco 5 times a year. So sometimes 2 months in England, Morocco, 1 month in England, 1 month. So I do go on a regular basis, basically. So things have changed now. Things have changed now slightly. We do see a lot of dance present. We do see a lot of events. They've got dancing present in them. We do even see weddings in Morocco with the belly dancer now. So before we
Oh
never
my
used to
God.
see, yes, we never used to see that. We never used to see that. Now there is a in a wedding in Morocco. You can have a belly dancer, and it is very. I would say 80% acceptable, and people admire that and like that. Whereas before it
Wow.
wasn't. It was just the chanting, the gathering, the getting together, playing music, get up and dance. Because don't forget, we're not Sharky, we're not Oriental. So the belly dancer
Exactly.
or the two-piece costume, it's not something from us. No, we're folkloric. We are Our dance is mainly done in groups, is mainly done within the communities, or like we say, from community to a community. So our dance, our culture, it's mainly done as in together. So we don't have a Samia Jamal, we don't have Tahia Karyoka, we don't have, uh, Naima Akif. No, we didn't have big names on that Sharky, but we had groups of dancers, we had names within the folkloric that raised the folklore, and our dance, or our folkloric dance, goes with the music together, if that makes sense. So when we mention, just hypothetically speaking, just as an example, we mention a Bida Tarma, and it is a group of dancers, but it's a group uh, of singers as well. So it's a men group of dancers, but they do sing. The singing comes with the dance.
Wow.
Whereas the Sharki composers, Muhammad Abdul Wahab, Kulthum, the singers, yeah, and then we had the dancers that
Exactly.
actually dance to those. Whereas no, we don't. They come together, if that makes sense. Yeah, but like I said, it's a very diverse. We are mainly a folkloric sort of country or tradition or culture, and that's how it is in our dance, basically. Yeah.
Wow, that's so amazing, interesting. And so I wonder if you are in a celebration or some group with this flavor of party or something, you are dancing but with a folkloric form. You are not dancing like a oriental dance or raksharki. like could be in Egypt or in another Arab country?
No. We as a tradition, traditionally and authentically speaking, and culturally speaking, the dance is folkloric. Okay,
Okay.
we can't. I've always said that, and I think you might have heard me saying that before. There isn't anything called Moroccan dance. There is something called Moroccan dances because there's a dance in Morocco from up north, from east, west, from south, and they're all different. They're all different because obviously Morocco as a nation is a very rich nation because yes, we are all Moroccans, but our origin differs from one region to another. So the original inhabitants of Morocco are Amazigh or Berbers. And even though with the Berber or the Berbers, there are different sides or different region to Berber, even the dialect, certain dialects is differs from the reef, the reef Berbers into middle, into south and what have you. So because of that richness, the dancing differs from one region to another. Now, we don't, like I said, we don't have flag sharky. We don't have, traditionally speaking, we wouldn't have the dancer wearing the two-piece costume. No, no, that doesn't happen. Saying that, in the 60s and in the 70s, Egyptian media and Egyptian dance and Egyptian were very strong and prevailed during the whole Arab world. So I'll give you an example. You take a Syrian man or a woman, Syrian person, a Saudi person, a Tunisian person, and a Moroccan person. So you take these four. If you speak Egyptian dialect to them, they will understand.
Yeah.
Whereas when you take an Egyptian guy and you speak a little bit of North African dialect, they might find it hard to understand. Why? Because the Egyptian media, that's the only thing you could watch during 60s, during 70s, even 80s, because the Egyptian media and the Egyptian films and the Egyptian series and the music and the tarab, it was heard in all the Arab countries. So sometimes some people they wouldn't refer to Kulthum as Egyptian singer. They call her the Arab singer because
Exactly.
in Syria you hear her, in Kuwait, in Saudi Arabia, in all. Do you understand? So that's what I'm
Yes.
saying. What I'm saying is, so culturally speaking, when you come into terms of the dance, the North African is mainly folkloric dance style because it's diverse, yeah. But it doesn't mean that's what it is. No, it's they've heard. I mean, I'm a 70s generation. I've grown up with the Egyptian movies. I've grown up with the Egyptian tarab and tarabiyat, and I might be speaking better Egyptian dialect to certain Egyptians themselves, you know what I mean? Because I've grown up like that, if you know what I mean. Whereas when you get an Egyptian person, and if I am speaking my Moroccan dialect to another Moroccan, the Egyptian will go, hang on a minute, whoa, slow down. What did you say? Say again. So that's how it is basically, yeah.
Okay. So, if you can share how or how many or how are the way that the Moroccan dance. So you say that you don't have a Moroccan style.
Yeah.
So what we could see or we could find in a variety of dances, or we could do something different from every region of Morocco, or how it
Right.
works.
Right. Let me tell you this. This is my own way and this is my own view. And I'm not somebody new to this business. I'm somebody that's been here for such a long time. Um, when you learn a certain style and when you learn, or if you want to learn things from a certain country, you have to travel to that country. You cannot learn dance and never visit. You can't tell me you've learned Egyptian without going to Egypt or visiting Egypt. You can't have done Shabi, Egyptian Shabi, without going to Hawari of Egypt or the old streets of Egypt. Even though not necessarily, maybe not necessarily living there, but at least encountering
Yes.
the areas, having a look, seeing people, smelling the food. You have to have that. Now,
Yes.
if I'm going to speak about Moroccan variety of dances, I'm not going to come out of this interview or finish this interview. I'll be here forever. Yeah. But to me, the only thing I would advise anybody wanting to learn is to travel to Morocco. Now, depending what you want to learn, there's loads of things on YouTube. There's a lots of different videos on YouTube, but unfortunately, not all of them are referring to the authenticity of the style. What would refer to the authenticity of the style is basically seeing people from that region and sitting down with people and spending some time with people. And the problem is that's the only problem is. The problem is in Morocco there isn't schools that you can go into and you can learn. No, if you want to learn, you have to encounter the locals and you have to be with the locals to learn. Um, say for example, you're gonna go up north in Tangier. In Tangier, there's the Jebli, what we call a style of Jebli, and you have to learn how to wear the Jebli outfit or the Jebli style, how to move. What influenced the Jebli or the Shamali, what we call Shamali style? What influences did it have? It's got a Spanish influence into it. Learning
Wow.
that learning that as well. You come up to the middle there's the shikhat and atlas, and there's the other shikhat, the Arab shikhats. Now is knowing what type of shikhat are you wanting to learn. So when you represent it properly. There's no problem in fusing it as long as you know your material while you're fusing it. You're putting a bit of fusion into it, but as long as you know your materials to do it. So, and then when you head down south, it's learning like the Amazigh dance. There's different types of the Amazigh dance, the outfits, the standing, the posture. And then you go down south where the Gedra or the Tuareg dance, Sahrawi dance. So he's understanding the Tuareg people, the Sahrawi people, the history, the impact from Africa. How come the dancer comes on her knees? What does she mean by the fingers? What message is she trying to send through those moves? So it's a lot. It's a hell of a lot and a lot. And you cannot learn that from YouTube because YouTube is commercial. Vimeo is a bit it's all commercial. YouTube nowadays is done on the viewers, on the number of viewers you have, or number of likes you have, because obviously there is a commercial side to it. So people, when they launch things on YouTube, they launch it on that basis. They're going to get more viewers. They're not going to show you the authentic stuff, are they?
No, no.
So, so please, for anybody wanting to learn, it's a very vast culture. It's a very rich culture. Travel to the country, go to the places. If you want to learn Morocco, go to Morocco. Algeria, go to Algeria. Tunisia, same. Libya, I mean, obviously, politically, if political situation calm down a bit and it's, just try if you can, or even encounter people from those countries as well. Try to be with them and try to understand how they live, how they see things, and attend their weddings and their special occasion and stuff like that. So yeah, you can't. It's like you learn Spanish or you learn. You can't. You've got to travel to practice learning a
Exactly.
language. Absolutely, you have to travel to a place that speaks the language so you can practice. That same applies on the actual Arabian dance in general.
Yes, talking about this social media and YouTube, exactly. Um, I think that 2 or 3 years ago, we have in Facebook a video with Moroccan girls dancing in the floor. So it was a completely dismissed information. Some people say that it's a jihad, but nobody knows what is a jihad. What can you tell us about this video and this specific word jihad?
Okay, Shikhat in itself, Shikhat is they are singers, right? It's a group of women. and they've got one leader, one women the leader. You know, like the part they've got a leader. Okay, shikhat is the name is plural, and the single word of it is shika or shikha. Okay,
Okay.
the shikha is the singer. As simple as shikha is singer. Shikhats are the singers, the plural
Okay.
meaning.
Singer.
So shikhats are a group of women, okay, who are actually singers, dancers, performers, storytellers, dwellers, anything about life, okay. And the role of these group of women have actually changed during the time. So when Morocco, because Morocco was a French, if I say the word right, colony, because France was in Morocco for 40 years. So when France was in Morocco for 40 years, these singers or these storytellers or these performers, they had a message. So all their chanting and their singing was about freedom. So they were playing a big role into passing the message for people that listening to their music to move on, to free their land, to have their independence. And obviously, when France came out of Morocco, they sang about love, life, nostalgia, happiness, sadness, storytelling, everything in life, everything what we face. Now, this is the actual she cards. This is the she cards. There is a style to this, and the style to this is all the she cards when they stand and they sing and they dwell and they perform, they do in the end, they do a dance. And their dance reflects or
Yeah.
finishes the storytelling, their enchanting, their singing, if that makes sense. So there are moves that actually are Shikat known. Okay. Some of it, some of the Shikats from especially from the house, they go down on the floor. Why do they go on the floor? It shows the Shika or the dancer's strength to go on the floor. And they can either go on the floor on their knees or they can crawl or somersault. That makes sense. Somersaults like fall around on the floor. Does that make sense? And it's a sign of power, sign of achievement, sign of being, sign of so many things. It has so many meanings, stuff basically. So that is shikat. Now, in Morocco, shikat is not the only dance that goes where the dancer goes on the floor.
The floor.
We've got we've got the gadra. The gadra, the dancer, she comes out on her knee, shuffling, shuffling, like moving, on
Yeah.
her knee. And obviously, it has a different meaning to the shikat or the shika when she's dancing. And her meaning, obviously, about hope, about love, about future, about the existence, about what, because these people are from the Sahara, the desert, whereas shikas are from the Atlas Mountains and from the what we call the house, which is an agriculture, which is a land that relies on an agriculture land, basically. So when the rain goes, if it rains and it's a really good year, Shikat are having a superb time, brilliant shows, and you'll see them in festivals, you'll see them everywhere.
Wow.
If it doesn't rain, Shikat are singing sadness. And obviously, Shikat talked about or sang about the corruption of leaders. Because I mean, like any other country, Morocco is one of those that unfortunately at a certain period of time we did have corruption. So there's certain chicans they came out and they sang about the corruption, about a sadness, about not being lawful, loyal, lawful and all that. So yeah. But I mean, unfortunately, I can't judge the video until I actually see it. But yes, shikats do go on the floor. They do roll over. They go on their knees, and it's mainly to show their strength or to finish off a story they were singing at first. If you understand me.
Yes.
So that's that. See, the shikat. I've done a high research on shikat. I mean, if you ask me a question, your viewers gonna have to stay here till for another 48 hours, and I'm not gonna finish.
So, but
So
yes, tell
go
me.
on. No, go
It's
on.
very, it's completely different from the idea that we have that this could be a modern dance like some dance call it twerk, or it's something like a Latin American. It's the way that the Moroccan girls are dancing Latin American music. It is not true. This is so a completely cultural thing in Morocco. So I think that it was so important to talk about the shihad.
Absolutely. No, that's fine. Absolutely. But just warn your viewers because we're gonna be here all day. That's all. No, it is. Look, Shiraz existed since the 17th, 18th century, so they're not new. Okay, Shiraz are not. It's not something new. The way the dance has developed and it has changed through the years and through the message those Shiraz wanted to send. So um, things like you'll see them Shiraz dancing, or you see them on that little metal pot either dancing, either waving, if they're going down, sort of, which is an everyday sort of work and an everyday life. And all of a sudden, she'll jump and she'll sit down on it. What does that mean? I only found out this, even though after being 20 years in this business, I only found out this about a year ago. What it means? It means the woman when she's on the tribe outside in the mountain, working, working, working. That means she finished what she had to do through the day. So she'll share, all that, and all of a sudden flip over that metal thing and sit down on it. And this is how she'll finish a song. Like, that's it, that's me, I'm
Okay,
done. Yeah, I am done. Things like I mean, circles. Circles is down to fertility, and like I says, I have done a lot of research about it for the circles. You know, because Morocco as a dance or as a main moves in our dance is our circles. We do circle, the pelvis side, and around side. So, and that is down to fertility and the continuity of it, though. Um, there's a lot of meaning and certain gestures what it means. There is the carpet making, there is the knife sharpening. I mean, I could go on forever, like I says, but for me, for anybody's interested on that, please search or refer to somebody that studied themselves and know and found the right thing, and try to learn from them, or travel to the country and try to learn from people over there and encounter locals and go to locals. I mean, people there in Morocco, they're very friendly and they're very welcoming. And people do like to see foreign dancers and foreign girls coming in. So, that's one thing I would maybe, advise a bit, obviously bearing in mind being a bit careful and what have you. So, yeah.
yes, because it's make a like a unfixed telephone. Someone said this information, and other people in another part of the world understand something different, and then go, 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 go. So we have a completely different information about what it's a really a shihad.
Yeah.
So
No,
we have
Shikhat
to
are
search it,
singers.
search the
Yeah,
information.
absolutely. Shikhat are singers, are a group. Shikhat is the plural name of Shika. And Shikat are a group of singers, dancers, performers, storytellers from the middle of Morocco in an area called Al Haus, which is Casablanca, Rabat, Saleh. These are the cities that gathers all the Shikat. Goes right down where Safi is, and Asfi or Safi, which is another city, slide down on the outskirts, just slightly on the outskirts of Al-House where the Shikat are. And these are the Arab women, because don't forget, Morocco as a country, like I said, the original inhabitants are Berbers, and Berbers, they're scattered all over Morocco. So when Islam came in, or when the Arab came in, It stayed in Morocco and obviously went as far as Andalus or Spain, obviously. But you'll see in Morocco areas where Berbers, Arabs, Arab, Berber, Berbers, Arabs. So they're all together. So coming back to Asfi or Safi, there's the Arabs and Berbers there. And that's where, as well, where the strong presence of Shikhat are. Um, and like I says, it had so much of a political intake into Shikhat. He had so many, it developed and it changed through the years, but it existed from as far as the 17th, 18th century. You'll see the Shikhat. And obviously, we've got a very high Jewish community in Morocco. And some of them, I think Fasiya, the big name, Sheikh, a Jewish lady in the 30s, 40s. She was a big name and she sang mainly about, like I says, life, love, and her music is up till nowadays is pretty well used and and informed. So Shikat is the main, okay, is the main.
Okay.
What derived from it, what come out of it, is the shabi, and that's maybe what I find. What people are mixing it up, and they don't know which is which and what's what. Now the shabi, or the Moroccan shabi, it descended mainly from shikat and bidatarma and all those um, big group that are singing groups derived from what we call a shabi. And shabi is maybe a modern way, a very modern way of singing those shikat songs and maybe adding to them because you can hear sometimes even guitars being added to certain shabi. Certain tunes have been adding to them to modernize them and made them like shabby style. And the shabby, obviously, when we say something shabby or the word shabby itself, shabby is someone very popular, someone quite how am I going to word it? Quite sociable, easygoing. Everybody likes. This is the word shabby. But when it comes into the actual music style, which is the shabi is the music that is listened by the majority of people. So the Moroccan shabi is listened, played, liked, loved by not just Moroccan as well as the Algerian. So when you go to the Algerian, they'll call it Moroccan. In fact, there are some YouTube pieces of music and singers. They're actually doing the Algerians and they're doing Moroccan Shabi because it's very widely listened and people like it. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's and obviously dancing the Shabi you have the impact of using the shabby moves, using Ragada moves, using Bidatarma moves, using Berber moves. So it's a cocktail. What came out a modern cocktail of all those traditional pieces. That's the way to put it. A modern cocktail of all those traditional pieces. And that's what made Moroccan shabby. That's the only confusion. I mean, everywhere I've been, people can't tell what's the difference between shikat and a shabi. What is a shabi and what is shikat? And what can we do in shikat? We can't do in shabi, and what we can do in shabi, we can't do in shikat. No, shikat is purely, like it says, round your pelvis, the moves, because you have to, don't forget, like I said, storytelling. You have to live your story, you have to deliver it, and you have to finish it off. Yeah. Shabi, you can add to it. You can add to it. You can add to it. I don't know. Bidatrama, I don't know. Any sort of other style move, you can add it into the shabi. And that's what would make the actual music, yeah?
So the shabi, it's the same meaning of chobi, that it's a very big confusion. What is chobi and what is shabi, and it's just a word. So
No,
what?
Stephanie, no, no. Chobi is a dance style in Iraq. Okay. Chobi is a dance style of Iraq. There's a huge difference. There's no comparison between that and that. No way. Okay. This is the Chobi. Shabi, like I says, it derived, it came down, it derived, it was born, it lived after the shikat. So the traditional one are shikats, okay? So what derived from it is the Shabi, but the Shabi had other things to it, like Andalusian to it, um, like Abida Tarma. When I Abida Tarma, okay, Abida Tarma is another folkloric singers and dancers, mainly men. Shikat are women, Abida Tarma are men. Okay, so shikat are women. Shikat are women as the singers, dancers, and what have you. But the musicians, the men. Bida Terma are a group of folkloric dancers, but mainly men. And the way they play or the instruments they play, it's purely traditional, nothing modern. So the Shabi derives from that, Shikat, Andalusian, a bit of Berber, and that brought us a little bit of Shabi. It's got everything. It's got a melange that gave us that little sort of cocktail. But in terms of the dancing, it's completely different from Chobi. Chobi, the Iraqi, there are similarities in the music between our music and Khaliji music. And that's why people get confused. Why? Because our rhythm is 6/8 and 6/9. Khaliji, and including the Iraqi, because for us as North African, Iraq is Khalij for us, and it is Khalij actually. It is Khalij. So for us, that's so the rhythm of 6/8 and 6/9 is exactly similar. It's just I'm North African. It hasn't got the stop. It goes bang, 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 and it could carry on, carry on, carry on forever, no stopping. The Iraqi or the Khaliji it has got that little stops. And the proof behind what I'm saying is Hussein Al Jasmi, who is a Khaliji singer. This guy, he's a singer. His name is Hussein Jasmi. You can Google him, you can search him. He's a very well known. Lots of dancers dance on his music. Now, this guy here have sang a lot of Moroccan shabi into Khaliji.
Okay.
And it is very big and it's very, very, sort of famous. So basically, our tune or our beat of North African music in general, there is a big similarity, or the patterns of it, it's similar to the Khalij. Like I
Okay.
says, the Arjuna music, that's why. And that is why you see people, and I've seen several times, I have seen people having Kuwaiti music and doing a dance on it, calling it Moroccan pop. And you'll see people again with Saad Lamjarad modern type of Moroccan music doing Khaliji to it
Yes,
because
exactly.
maybe it's because it's that similar. People are getting sort of mixed up. But how would you know? Or how would you know? You would know by traveling to the country. You would know by encountering people from that country, building relations, building contacts, asking questions, searching as well, not just come up and do it, search. And obviously, this is how we all learn basically. But yeah, so there is, like I said, there is a difference. There's a huge difference between Shabi. There is a difference between Moroccan Shabi and Egyptian Shabi. There's a huge difference between Moroccan Shabi and Egyptian Shabi.
Yes.
Egyptian Shabi, it's completely different thing. Egyptian Shabi is countable. It's 4/4. You can follow it. Ahmed Adawiya, all of those, even the older ones, Abdul Hamouli, even the older ones. It's one style. You can hear it. You'll get. You should be able to count it. Moroccan shabi is a different rhythm. It's a different thing. So there is a difference, a huge difference, even in the dance, Stephanie. The dance is different. The Moroccan shabi is not the Egyptian shabi. It's a completely different thing, though. So yeah.
It was amazing, a big question. I think that it's not only for me, for all the dancers, because we have seen sometimes like a come to the Chobi, Morocco Chobi class. So we can, what is Chobi? It's the same as Shabi. It's a different way. But now you tell us that Chobi is from Iraq. So we are.
We don't have a job. We don't have nothing in our culture called chobi. Chobi is an Iraqi dance style, to my understanding and to my knowledge. We have shabi, shabi. Maybe they misword it. Maybe they wrote it wrongly. They spelled it wrongly. I don't know. It doesn't have anything that says chobi. No, there isn't anything that says chobi. It's shabi. And Shabi, anybody teaching Shabi or wanting to learn Shabi or whatever, you have to study Shikat. You cannot do Shabi without Shikat because it comes from Shikat. You have to understand, the Shikat dance, the Shikat moves, the Shikat presence, the Shikat, how you come on stage, how you present yourself, what are you trying to share, what message are you trying to send. You have to understand these steps before doing the Shikat, obviously. And when you do the Shikat, then you can come to the Shabi. But like I said, in the Shabi, you can play by adding moves from a different regions, from a different styles, from a different, you can play with that. You are within limitations, obviously, but you can still add whatever you like. So, but there isn't,
Okay.
I have to say, there is nothing, and I have never heard Moroccan chobi, but,
Yeah,
it's,
I have to ask you that.
no, it's
So,
fine. To me, that shows a lack of understanding and the lack of studying. I'm not gonna wear a Mexican hat and say right and wear the actual cover and a Mexican hat. Maybe I look Mexican. I don't know. Maybe just say, "Ah, come on with me. We'll go. I'll teach you Mexican dance now."
no.
It doesn't. No, no, no.
Perfect. So, what about this dance that we could see doing with the arm, with a no, I'm sorry, with a kind of a weapon?
Guns, guns.
Guns,
Like a
exactly.
bit. Right, okay. The northeast of Morocco is there's a region, and that is Wajda Fidig. So when you look at the Morocco as a map and you look up north, the actual east, you look at the region called Wajda and Fidig, and those region are actually they've got a dance style called the regada. Without going through history and all that, because that's got a lot of intake into the history behind the Raqs regada or the dance of regada. Now, the dance of the regada is done by the longer, shooting, guns and what have you, the longer ones, and it reflection of the power of the tribe. It refers to the power of the tribe. Okay, obviously because of the situation nowadays, you can't do that on stage, but people now they do it with the sticks, like the saidi, the asaya, and you can dance. And what it is, it's a dance of power, dance of existence, dance of a pride, dance of a victory. Because people on the olden days they used to live in tribes, and obviously when those tribes used to fight, the winner they celebrate by dancing,
Yes.
all that. And that's all it reflects. It's just a dance of power, dance of existence, dance of victory, dance of the victory, the one with one type thing. And that's what it reflects. And obviously, in terms of the dance move, it has lots of shoulder shimmies, lots of foot stomping on a on a systematic way, on a countable way, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You know, and it's a very fiercey style, as in like. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're back. You're back
Yes,
now.
I'm back. It's a very fiercey style. It's a very powerful sort of dance style, and it's a pride style as well. So this is what we call the ragada. And yes, you dance it with a long in shooting sort of gun, and you know, I mean, you're not gonna go up and shoot people, but it's just you shoot in the air. Uh, also, I have to say, Morocco as a country is an agricultural country, so we can't make cars. We don't. Well, we do make cars now. I have to take back what I says. We do make cars now. So Renault gets done in Morocco, but before we never used to make car. We don't do mobiles. We don't do technology. We're an agriculture country that can make nice oranges, nice tomatoes, nice vegetables and fruits because the land is good. The land is very rich. Yeah. So this is what we produce. So Morocco as a country, we rely, like I says, on the rain. Yeah, on the rain. So on a good year, when it rains and we've got a very good year, lots of prosperity, lots of, we celebrate. How do we celebrate? By a horsemanship, which means every single kabila or tribe does a celebration with horses and young men leading those horses. Yep. So
Wow.
you've got like 12 horse, horse, you know, in some region Tamils, but on what is known, and this is we're talking from north of Morocco to south, horses by younger men, and those younger men have got long shooting guns, and to celebrate a good year, they'll race, like they race to do lotto and stuff like that and play money. It's similar, but it's not quite. They race on one line, racing, and in the end, they shoot in the air, which is a sign of power, sign of a good year, sign of prosperity, sign of marriage, sign of
Wow.
everything. So there is that where, but I don't call it dancer, I'll call it the show man uses the longer gun. So yeah.
So if if this is for something to it for men, uh, as a dancer, we can take this to the stage and do it as a woman.
You mean, are you talking about the regatta? You're talking about the dance from, yeah, of
Yes,
course.
from
Well,
the stage.
no. Regatta is danced by male and female, okay?
Okay.
Male and female. So if you are dancing with the long stick and all that, and all these shoulder, you can do it on stage by women or by group of women. It's not a problem and it's fine. There is no issues with that at all whatsoever. So you can reflect on that. There isn't a problem. Uh, Male presence to it, it's good though. But if it's just women, it's still okay. It's still fine.
Okay, but
But
it's
I mean,
not.
if go on then.
It's if we do it, it's not something. I mean, something wrong for the culture, something against to the culture. It's
No,
okay.
no, it's fine. It's okay. It's a sign of a power. You do it, male or female. It doesn't matter. So no problem. And you're not gonna upset nobody. And culturally speaking, it's acceptable.
Okay. So, talking about this fake video from for you and the Egyptian dancer, and to know which video I'm talking about. Tell us
Um,
how.
Right, I'll tell you this because I've chatted to Asmahan just few weeks ago, and it was so lovely to see her and talk to her. Right, okay. So my video with Asmahan was in one of the festivals in Marrakesh, Morocco, and we've done the workshop, and I taught the workshop, so I finished teaching, and she finished. And in the evening, there was a party. So she danced at the party, and I danced at the party, and we finished. That's it, we finished. Now, after the performance party, when all the dancers danced and they finished, after the performance, we were having fun, like, So Asmahan was dancing and all this. And then all of a sudden, a Moroccan music came up. And because Asmahan was dancing and Moroccan music came up, she didn't know. So she was like, what is Nawara? So she pulled me out of stage. I mean, if you see the actual video, real video, the original video, she pulled me out, come on stage. So when I came on stage, because the live bands, they saw me, obviously. So they started playing. And I just started dancing, just normal, no problem. And she was following. And I'm like, okay, what I'm supposed to be following you, not following me. She says, okay, you want to follow me? You want to rock it? I'm like, yes. And I says, come on, let's do it. It was absolutely manic. That video, do you know what? I have moved I've asked 3 people to move that video out, and it's still circulating, it's still going. So it seemed to have had really high viewers.
It was amazing. I cannot be tired of seeing this video because you were so happy. You were sharing with the both culture, your music, your style, and she is a very famous Egyptian dancer, but she's learning from you. She was enjoying the time. I think it was a very special moment, and we could see it now. If you can, girls, if you can check this video from Wara dancing with Asmahan, Moroccan dance with Moroccan music is fabulously. So we
It
could
was
see
just fun,
how.
and I think it was a what we call in English. It was just a moment. It was just a moment. It wasn't planned. No rehearsal. Like I says, it was after the festival. We finished, and after the festival, what they say, have a party. Let's have a party. Okay, let's have a party. And when he did the party, he played some Egyptian music, and Asmahan was dancing, and everybody, yeah, yeah, yeah. And after that, played Moroccan. And we played Moroccan. She was on the stage already. And she's going, Nawara, Nawara. So we pulled it up. And it was for me, it was a very nice memories. Very nice memories with obviously dancing with Asmahan. We had Asia Haskell as well, who joined us afterwards. There was loads of people joining us afterwards, the dancers at the time. And it was good. But you see, some of the moves I did on that, it was just for joke. The one she had. Like I said, that, and I was doing like this. It was just from my own invention. It wasn't no shikhat. So don't copy that and do it on shikhat. They'll fail you. They'll be thinking, what?
And I
So
was
yeah, it
doing
was
this
just a moment.
a
Yeah,
meaning.
I was doing like this. I was just going like that was just me being crazy on the stage. That's all. And she's going. And she's going like this. It was just a moment. That's all. Yeah. So yeah. Thank you.
So, talking about the final this conversation, this pelvis work for Morocco, it's so important. I think that it's the main difference between Egyptian dance or another country dance. This is strong, this pelvis work. What can you tell us?
Right. It's very strong because we are Africans, okay? We're North Africans. And I don't know if you've done or if you know much about the African dance. The African dance, it's got the earthiness, the earth, which means you don't dance on high heel, you dance flat feet. Yeah, it's got the earthiness and it's got the circles. Okay, because we are Africans, that move, it is in African dance and it is in the Moroccan dance. It's very important, and like I says, it reflects. And then, like I said, I only knew that myself about the fertility and continuity and what have you, around here. It's That is one of our key moves. It is one of our key moves. There's some more key moves into the Moroccan dance, but the circles are the main one. You cannot do a Moroccan dance without circles. You have to circle. And there's a circle, there's 3 or 4 types of circle. There's the pelvis circle and there's the bottom circle. You know the bottom? The cheek, you can either do the circle on that or you can do the pelvis on that. So these are different types of circle. So you have to get yourself into training yourself a bit more into doing that 3 or 4 different types of circle. And if you're wearing the proper outfit of the shikat or the shabi dance, it's you can see what type of circle you're doing. So if you're doing the bottom one, I'll know you're doing the bottom one. If you're doing the one from here, I'll know you're doing the one from the pelvis sort of one. So yeah, and like I says, it's very important. It is one of the key moves. It has to be learned properly. It has to be it has to go with the rhythm and it has to go with the music as well. And it has to go with what you actually dance into, and that's by research, by things. So no, it's circles, and also not just circles. I mean, we do have the twist in circles. So you're circling, but you're twisting in a circle. Does that make sense? You're doing the circle,
Yes.
the full sort of circle or body circle like this, but you're actually twisting. You know what I mean by twist?
Yes. Like this.
Yeah, you're doing it in a circle. So that's another Moroccan sort of move. There's loads of it. There's loads of it. Obviously, your legs should be on a certain posture. Your body should be on a certain posture. And you have to dance on the right music, especially now with the social media, especially now with all this internet thing. You can't just post something and label it and throw it out on social media. You will get criticism, obviously. So, no, just search and come to Morocco, come to Morocco. I mean, as you speak from that, I am actually doing a course of Moroccan classes of Moroccan dance. And I will be launching all that this weekend here. That's coming. It will be on every Sunday and it will be mainly on Moroccan dance. And it'll be from a different part of Moroccan region, north, south, or different dance like the Shamali, the Northern, the Farsi, the actual Rageda, the Tuareg, Shiikat, the Berber, all sorts. Even though the Berber, then we're going to be looking, or I'm going to be touching different styles of Berber, how they stand, how you come out, how you hold your hand, all that. So there's going to be a course on a Moroccan, mainly Moroccan music and dance, talking just not just about the dance, slight history as well, a slight cultural appropriation, what we can use, what we can't use, understanding of the outfits, what you can wear while you're doing what style. So all this is going to be coming up, obviously, for whoever's interested on this Sunday here. For anybody's interested, please do get in touch. I'll send the details. And I think the first session will be this Sunday, just to tell, and you can sign in for the whole course or you can pay as you go. So it will be sort of different facilities of, payments and what have you. So yeah, so if you like Moroccan dance, if you like what we do, if you want to know a bit more, please keep an eye on us and we'll share a lot more.
Yes, you can share me the information and we will put it on the page. So I think that we have many dancers interested in learning this Moroccan dance from the culture, from all this background that you have. So please share us the information. I think it's very interesting.
Brilliant. No, that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. Yeah.
So, and now we have a last question, and it's about a song called Yarrayah. This song is from where and how we dance this song if this is possible.
Of course. I believe you mean Yarrayah. Yarrayah.
Exactly. Yarrayah.
Yarrayah. Right. Yarrayah وين مسافر تروح تعيا وتولي. This song is Algerian. Okay,
Algerian.
it
Okay.
is Algerian. It's a traditional Algerian, what I would call Shabi song. It's very popular. It's sung all over. Now we've seen people modernize it and they've sung it on a different scale. And the latest one was from the Rai, which is a style of a dance and style of a music rather than a dance, really, of a Rai. How you can dance to it? There isn't a proper way into dancing. If you are dancing into the Rai version of your Raya, then you have to do the modern steps of the Rai because the Rai, which is Rai, is a modern style of music of the Algerian music. So you have to use the modern steps, okay? Bit of Western, keeping the tradition. Now, if you dancing it on the proper Algerian or the traditional Algerian steps, I'd use the traditional Algerian steps, which is the bump shimmy, lots of the bump shimmy, front and back, and steps, and that one to that side of you know. So that's what I would normally use, but it all depends what version are you
Version.
dancing to. So
But
always go with the rhythm and what version you're dancing or you're listening to be able to dance. Yeah.
okay, but so this song it's not be able like a Khaliji style.
No, it's Algerian. We're gonna if we
Okay.
dance Khaliji to this, we're gonna upset lots of Algerians, and we better not.
Okay,
يا
perfect.
يا رايح وين مسافر صراحة تعيا وتولي
Exactly.
this is Algerian حبيبتي Algerian
Brilliant
Algerian
completely.
Algerian and it's been
Perfect.
sung differently. It's been sung the Moroccan Shabi as well. It has been sung some new band artist, band singer. They've sung it. The Moroccan, but the song is purely Algerian. It's a very very famous sort of piece of music. No Khaliji, no
No,
hairswear,
this
nothing. No, sorry, head tilting, okay, but not the
CD with this
not
flavor.
Khaliji rhythm. No, 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 because it's not
Okay.
Khaliji, it's Algerian. But if you do it on the Rai style, modern step, group dance, modern together with formation and what have you. If you sing it or if you dancing on the traditional piece, I'll just use the Algerian, because Algeria is very rich as a country itself. I mean, the Kabyle moves are fascinating, are absolutely fascinating. And the Kabyle is what we have in Morocco, Amazigh or Berber. So, but even though Kabyle and Amazigh, there is a difference. I mean, there's a boom. I mean, the Kabyles, they've got a very strong boom shimmies. We don't have that. We don't have it. We don't. It doesn't exist in our Moroccan
Mhm.
Berber. So you do it the Algerian way, maybe with a scarf around it, and just do your bum chimney go up and down, or just play with your scarves. That side of it. So depending what version, but no Khaliji, no Iraqi. See, that's another thing what we normally see. We get dancers, and they train, and they trainee dancers, that's the word, trainee dancers. And everybody loves Moroccan sheikhats, and everybody wants to dance to Moroccan sheikhats. But when you watch the dance, it's not Moroccan sheikhats, it's Iraqi dance in a Moroccan sheikhats music. So hair, 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 hair. Now, and don't get me wrong, it's good to see, but I wouldn't present it as Moroccan Sheikhs, if that makes sense. Or why don't you change just the music and do Iraqi? And that's what you've done in an Iraqi song, and you look good.
Exactly. I think that all comes to the research for good information, to study, to see the difference between this culture, these countries, and doing the things with respect, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just keep dancing and keep being happy. That's another thing as well. So that's just that. Yeah.
So thank you so much. Thank you, Nawa, for this time, for sharing your knowledge, for answer all these crazy questions. I know, but it's very interesting for us here in Latin America, learning from Morocco and having another vision of dance in with a different kind of things with a different background. So thank you. I really enjoyed this time with you. And please share all the information about this course, about these classes, so people are very interested in learning more from Morocco.
Absolutely, and that's my pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank you for broadcasting me as well. So thank you very much, and thanks for your time as well. Thank you. Thanks, Stephanie, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. I hope to see you somewhere, in some country
Inshallah, very
maybe.
soon.
So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Thanks.
Bueno, chicas, espero que hayan disfrutado esto. Si tienen alguna pregunta, si tienen algún comentario, pues lo pueden dejar aquí. Quiero agradecer nuevamente a Priscila López y Gala Vergara por habernos ayudado con la traducción, para que todos estemos un poquito más conectados y sea más fácil entender todo lo que estos grandes maestros nos están compartiendo. Entonces, bueno, esto fue todo por hoy acerca de las danzas de Marruecos. Y con mucho gusto les voy a compartir la información en cuanto la maestra Nawarra nos las dé acerca de estos cursos que ella va a estar impartiendo. Los invito a que se acerquen a conocer su trabajo, que la puedan seguir en redes sociales y nos veremos la próxima semana con otra gran sorpresa, con otra gran charla para seguir aprendiendo. Les mando muchos besos y muchas gracias.